I don't know how much space I have on my phone, but I kind of just felt like talking out loud. I just wrote down a dream, for the first time in a long time. And even though I only remember parts of it that stuck with me once I woke up, I feel like I feel the meaning behind all of it so immediately, because it's tying in with literally everything else that I've been feeling. Everything is so interconnected that it's not very often that I have something happen or whatever in my life where I'm like, okay, why did that happen? Or what's this for? Like, what's it connected to? What is this showing me? And I don't find the answer. Like, even if it takes like a few hours or that week or whatever, like, it connects with something and it's showing me something, and etc., etc. And not like I'm sitting here questioning every part of my day, but if there's something big that happens, I'm like, I know that's for a reason. I'll sit there and I'll think on it a little bit, because sometimes sometimes I don't make the time immediately, or I have a million things going on, and then I sit down and I'm like, okay, well, this had meaning. Let's dive into feeling it a little bit. Or in the present moment, even in the present moment, when sometimes I just don't know, but I know it's meaningful, and so I make the time to sit with it. There's part of me that's screaming for my attention right now. But let's go back to my dream first. Okay, so this dream, I mean, again, it's all connected, so it doesn't really matter where I start. What do I feel like I should start with? Do I feel like I should start with him grabbing my selenite wand right now? It is next to my bed. Probably more like a selenite log. It's like a 2x4 by 16 foot or something. It's not actually that big, but it's like a log at work, where it's like a thing of wood. But anyways, okay, shivers when I'm holding this. And not just because it's cold. Okay, let's start here. I've had this feeling in my body not since I can remember, but for most of my life. Like, I feel like I'm gifted the remembrance of that lightheartedness of being a kid, just the innocence, the love. And when I wasn't bogged down with body and energetic parasites of my own creations, or anyone else's. I didn't have any at that point. I'm gifted the remembrance of that time, to know the difference now of when I started feeling and I couldn't release, or felt like I couldn't release anymore, everyone else's stress. And my parents were splitting up, and it was just such a mess. Like, something in me is playing a sort of peekaboo right now, think my inner child wants to feel safe and can feel that I am completely committed to this like cultivation and expanding of this space for her, for myself, for her to communicate, to be safe, to love, to accept, to feel whatever needs to be felt. But there's been so many times where I didn't hold up my end of the bargain. So she's kind of peekabooing right now to see if I'm being true or if I'm still going to go about it in an unhealthy way. And I'm growing. I can feel that I'm different than the last times I've come to these feelings and the last times I've come to her. But there's still much that needs to be processed. But I think it's stuff that we can do together. I feel like it's things that we can process and feel together. So with my body feelings, since I was little, I've felt pain in my spine, pain and tension in my spine and my joints. And my wrists have hurt, my ankles swell. And yes, it's definitely physical stuff, but I've focused so heavily on the physical things that right now in this video I'm going to focus on talking about the energetic side of all this. Because yes, I know about the parasites, yes, I know about getting movement in, and yes, so yes, I constantly talk about that stuff, and I constantly talked about feelings for so long because growing up and coming back to the place that I grew up in, I really, really recognize how much my dad just wants the people, he trains the people, tries to train the people around him to act like logical robots. Just think logically, don't feel anything. There's no place for feelings with him until he has his own emotions he's trying to process. And I'm seeing how he's working on actually giving himself that space now. It's so beautiful. For so long, I saw him hurting himself more and more by covering it up and by smoking it away, drinking it away, and projecting it onto other people through yelling and being upset. Until I did the same thing and I had to get out because I said I wasn't going to do this to my loved ones. I can't turn into the same people that I felt I had to run away from my entire life. And then I finally left as I turned 18. And I came to a space where I was accepted and able to feel what I needed to feel. Where the bullshit of me projecting and spiraling downward wasn't accepted. And those people loved me so much they weren't okay with me treating myself like shit. So they reminded myself that I can love. They reminded me that I can love myself. They reminded me that if I take the time to love myself, I can trust myself too. Those have been two foundations of who I am today. The strongest roots at my core. My self-love and my self-trust. They spanned out to trusting them and loving them even more than I already did. True love for myself and true love for those around me, and that I've been able to cultivate and expand more than I ever felt before. I mean, since I was the innocent child. What I've ever felt since I had all this tension in my body. Energetic body and physical body, because it turned into a physical thing. And so now every time I come to crying, since a few Hape meditations that started when I was still in that space for those 2 years, and I took the time to do my Hape ceremonies and let myself feel, and I started really letting myself feel in those meditations, and then it came to a point where I felt something was stuck, and it would come up to my heart space, and then it felt like it was caged, or like there was a gate that it couldn't get past, and I couldn't let it out. I tried forcing it, and it still wouldn't release. And now I'm finally at the place where I'm truly not just knowing that I need to, but truly accepting what my body and my being and my spirit are feeling. And just accepting it as it is. So that way I may love it and process it more thoroughly. Not needing to know everything and blah blah blah. But just being able to accept and process that through accepting that it's there, and then accepting the feelings that come from it, and let those feelings release by actually feeling them, and having that safe space within myself that I've created for myself to feel it. Releasing this sickness and disease from my body. Releasing this tension of all these stored emotions. Because there's so much now that almost anytime anything comes up, it's either I need the immediate release of crying, or I get the tension build up of anger or lust. And I don't like feeling either of those ways because they're not productive. When I'm sad, I can still think clearly, and I can still feel and release through crying and such. But when I'm angry, I have to be aware of how I'm projecting that energy onto others. When I'm lustful, I have to do the same thing and realize that that's not the real release that I need. Anger is a flashing light in my face. Like that awareness, it's letting me know, it's a sign as I'm speeding past my past lived life. My whole life's not like that, but sometimes it feels like it's letting me know, hey, you gotta slow down, you're going too fast. And I see that sign for the blink as I pass it. Until it starts flashing in my face, hey, you really need to slow down now. And I truly become aware of it. Because if I didn't become aware, it would run my life. Rather than help me run mine. So I'm grateful for this tension in my body, in my being, in my spirit, in my energy, and in my life. In my relationships that shows me, hey, you have something knocking on your door. You have to answer. And I'm truly opening that door for myself now. Allowing myself to step through in both directions. To truly feel and accept what is within myself. Because for too long, I've been a guiding force in I had been a guiding force in what made me feel like it wasn't safe enough to feel my feelings. And I think right now there's still an unconscious part of myself I have the patience to extend to it. This love, acceptance, and the time that it is ready. This inner child, this part of me, still feels like it knows that feelings would not be accepted. And I think that's partially because of the environment I'm back in with knowing that my dad wants us to be logical. I'm my own being, and I don't need him to accept me anymore. I accept me and I accept what I've been carrying for years. Not only do I accept, but I am so grateful for this tension that I hold, this pain that I've dealt with, because every time it has shown me something. Every time, through this whole time, it has been a blessing. Never a curse, always a blessing. So with that, I am grateful to my inner child for holding this. I'm grateful to my inner child for feeling this. Gwen, I'm sorry you felt alone. You're not alone anymore. I love you. And we have the ability to process these emotions together. To create a space within and around each other that we may feel. Exactly and however we may feel. Thank you for all that you are and do. I never needed anyone else in high school and my family to see me or hear me like I just heard and felt and seen myself. Like I am moving towards with myself. I needed to see those parts of me that have been neglected. I needed that love from myself to truly know that I am seen by who matters. Myself, me. I see me. I accept me. I accept what I hold. I am grateful for myself. I am grateful for my life. I feel gratitude expand to every fiber of my being. I accept this shift as it comes. I feel gratitude, lay peace down in my body, lay to rest some of the tension, while noting the rest. This video is the first in a long time that I felt is truly for me. I've wanted to write for days now, but whether it be physical parasites not letting me move my body in that direction, or think that that's the right idea, whatever, I haven't. until I wrote down this dream. So this video is very important for me. It's some of what I've been wanting to write down just in the past couple days, let alone months of feeling this shift. Finally being in it, it's such a blessing. I somewhat prepared, but I'm also aware of how much I hid from the anticipatory anxiety riding feeling of, oh no, something's coming, rather than, ah yes, there's something coming. May I get ready? May I be ready for what comes? Now that I'm at the beginning of this shift, may I be ready for what comes and what is. May I be ready for love. And the blessings. May I feel gratitude, and may my heart always be filled with love as I process, accept, and release emotions. May my body be well rested to release tension and energy from my muscles, from my bones, from every fiber of my being. May I be ready for what is. Thank you. This dream, I had something, not this last night, but yesterday's last night. Before I went to work yesterday, I woke up. At first, I was like, my first thought was, I need to write this down. My book was right next to me, or wherever it was, but I was like, I need to write this down. And then I came more to consciousness, and my brain, like, I immediately let go of the thought of even having a dream, let alone remembering any of it. And I went straight into getting ready for work and forgot about it. Tensions within the house, tension within my own body for causing that time in the morning to be stressful rather than lackadaisical. And it was when I was at work, starting on one of my first orders of the day, that something came back to me, a thought that reminded me of my dream, reminded me that I even remembered my dream to begin with that day. And it was something about a lot of cameras, like cameras just being posted up in places. I'm dimension hopping when I'm in my dreams. I've always felt it, but it's like sometimes I have dreams for periods of time where I'm hopping dimensions within one dream, like one conscious strand of hopping to a bunch of different dimensions, going through a door and it being a completely different world within a building rather than without. Because a lot of the time when it's not like that and I remember my dreams, it's as if I move from this dimension to another dimension or universe or some sort, where I'm living out a whole other life in my dream, but it's one dimension and one consciousness through that whole dream. Right now, I'm going into my dreams and I'm hopping from worlds to worlds. And last night, the night before work, yesterday, I remembered something about cameras being everywhere and fearing that they were, or worrying at the least, that it was coming to my awareness that they might have been everywhere, like little teeny cameras, not posted up in the corners of rooms, obviously, like obvious to the eye. It was like little teeny cameras hidden inside of things where you thought you were alone or whatever. And I so far have not recalled any more of that dream. But then today, I woke up at 8 something this morning, almost 9, and I just had to piss. So I went to the bathroom, and I remembered that in that waking that I had a dream with Madison again. And within that dream, I was either running, I think I was running with her and protecting her, because maybe she had something coming after her, and so I ran with her. Dimension hopping. Things were still finding us and chasing us, though. But the dream I really remembered was once I went back to sleep after I went to piss. I was no longer digesting and having that shit staying in me because I went to piss and take a shit. Or maybe I didn't take the shit until I woke up the second time. But I wasn't digesting as much, so I think I was able to remember my dream more. And this dream, after I got up to piss the first time at 8 something, almost 9, I went back to sleep until about noon. And I didn't remember as much as I thought I wanted to, but I remembered clips of it, basically, like a little snap of this place and that, and this thing coming after us and that, and what I was holding in my hands, where we were released and finally felt safe. In this dream, it was me and the family. At first, it might have been me and some friends that were close to me, but by the end it was definitely me and my family. It was a little foggy at the beginning parts of the stream, but what I need to remember is what I remember, being that I was running away from something, but also towards something. And it was like running away from lower vibrational demons and parasites as they were literally chasing us through the dimensions that we'd hop. But as we were going through the dimensions, it was always climbing upward or going through a house, hiding, a mix of hiding and running and climbing. I had a knife from the beginning. I think it kind of changed and upgraded throughout the time of each dimension I'd go through, until one of the latter ones I had a knife and a gun. I still preferred using the knife when necessary, but once I got the gun, I made sure that the holsters I put the knife and the gun in, I could easily access and I could easily use if something came up to me, because it was getting, these demon parasite things were getting really close to me at this point. And they had a kind of demon human shape to them, but they were less and less hidden the higher vibrational dimension we would move to. Like at first they just looked like people that we were running from and hiding from, and they couldn't really find us because everything was of the same vibration, until we kept getting a higher vibration, and they were more and more conscious to us and more conscious of us, and less able to hide within the skin of a human or whatnot, until they really just looked like this like black and red demon thing, but not like a very solid like devil figure. It was like a melted human, elongated parasite demon thing. I wish I could draw it, because there was a flash of it coming straight up into my face, and it almost got me the one time. But I think that's when I faced it. I don't remember what happened after that until the next dimension, where I wasn't even there anymore, and I had climbed higher, like basically scaled the one side of this house. I think I went back for someone at one point. They must have been following me by the time I left, or someone came back for me, handed me a weapon. I think that's when I got the gun. And then we were scaling up. It's all dark at this point, like the stairs that are kind of like on the side of this building, because like the whole reality is breaking down with the lower vibrational species trying to exist and tamper with my life in that reality of that higher vibrational state that I was trying to be in. Well, that I was in, but wasn't truly in, I think, because of these things that were still attached to me and attached to Madison and my family every time. That no matter how much I raise my vibration, if I still have these things living in me, I still have to face them. And I'm within a shift in my reality, in my existence, in my life, in my energetical, physical, and mental body and being, that is facing these things that have been screaming for my attention, these things that were literally chasing me down to kill me in my higher vibrational state, because they don't want to be there. They would rather kill me first, but I'm not letting that happen. Until we climbed up that side of the building, and I popped out at this water, and I still felt like I was running away from them, but some part of me knew that they couldn't get to me there. And so I'm like above on this rock formation above this place. I can climb down, get down to more little rocks, like right in front of like this river or water of some sort. And so I climb down and I go through the water, and I get to this house. It's wild because I'm like basically swimming upstream. So I'm still moving upward, like higher vibration, until the swimming just kind of magically in the dream state shifts from swimming upstream to walking up a hill in a neighborhood. And I'm with all of my family at this point in this reality. I had to go through that little greenery area with the green, the trees, the rocks, and the water. It felt so alive. I had to go through that piece by myself, but I knew my family was with me the whole time. And we all came out the other end together, finally trudging up that last hill, walking together. I felt like I was kind of like in front, and we come to where there's cars, there's a street, there's all these houses and all. And there's the thing that catches my attention, and I stop, is there's like a car behind this and some houses right here on the top of the hill. Kind of like a really close neighborhood where the houses are almost like attached. and in front of this car, it's like silver. It's one of those like random little neighborhood plant things where it's like this whole concrete, almost looking like a goblet that holds some sort of plant, like a pot, like a concrete pot. But it's up above the ground, and it's holding this green bush that's shaped like a heart, horizontally, not vertically. So it's horizontally just laying there as this heart shape of a bush. And then they're saying, like, hey, this is our house. Like, I hear Papa behind me, like, this is our house right here. And it's like, it's almost as if we went through this whole journey of these higher dimensions and facing these demons that we all had to face on our own to get back to somewhat of the same place physically, but different in energy and being and our whole family unit. And I feel like this is the shift that I've been feeling for a while now. Maybe it's even the shift that I was feeling before I got here. And everyone is in the middle of a shift right now. I feel that. I see that. And the tensions that have been let gone for so long are now being faced and brought. It's not even just faced, but brought to people's attention. Brought to attention. Just as it's almost like reading tarot, reading my dreams, but it's like this is me explaining it out now, but I didn't need to explain it and go piece by piece, and in my understanding it just all came to me like this is what happened, and I knew the feelings of what it all meant immediately upon remembering this dream this morning. And I almost didn't even want to write down the dream, but just write down what it meant in my dream journal. But I wrote down a little bit of both and then did this video. But just as the parasite demon energy things were hidden before in the lower vibrational states, as we rose to the next new level, new devil, more and more of them came to my awareness. They weren't able to hide as another human anymore and just be part of my space. They came to my attention as something that I had to face and move forward with and slay with my knife and my gun, or accept and feel as I move forward. But there's still, I go back to this thing that feels stuck inside of me. There's still this part of me that feels like I have to run, like there's no space that I can just feel this, like that I won't be safe if I process and feel these emotions and energies that have been hiding in me. But I have a knowing and a deep feeling and recognition and remembrance in this return to myself that this is important to feel and important to accept, no matter how hard it could be. And I'm grateful for all of this. I'm grateful for my brain and for my spirit guides and for everything that has been sent to me along my journey. Everything that synchronizes and connects, which is literally everything in its entirety. So thank you, universe. Thank you, higher self. Thank you, inner child. Thank you, Gwen. I move forward with a heart full of love, patience, understanding, compassion, empathy, humbleness, humility, and gratitude on my journey for myself and for others. Thank you.